Hi, I'm Lara Waldman, the Abundance Activator, author of Money Manifestation Mastery. And today I'm going to share why I hid my true power. On my journey of money manifestation mastery, of conscious wealth creation, what I discovered over time personally is that money manifestation mastery and conscious wealth creation is a journey of coming home to your true, authentic power, money and power. And it has been my obsession to figure out, how do we work with money and power consciously and mindfully? So I call it heart, body, soul aligned wealth. Now, what I had done is shut off, or did my best to shut off from money and shut off from power, because I'd only seen examples of unhealthy misuse of money power, and I didn't want anything to do with that. It was a full rejection. I grew up around money that was devoid of heart and soul and connection. It did not feel good to me. And so I did a big pendulum swing from wealth into spirituality, and that wasn't working. Either pendulum did not work for me. So I woke up to this work through a lot of pain and challenge. And I've been on an extraordinary journey working with money, trying to figure out how to do this, how to create a whole new financial system, one business, one body, one bank account at a time. And this has been a journey around power, of reclaiming power and figuring out what that power is. So I've been deep diving into this work personally. And then once that is integrated and I feel confident and clear to share, I come and share that with my clients in my Living Abundance Mastermind and Living Abundance Leaders program, and then share with you here publicly. I want to make sure that I really understand what I'm talking about and speaking about before I start sharing content out in the world. So I'm deep diving into things behind the scenes, putting it to the test, interrogating, questioning, understanding, pulling apart until I find what feels aligned with my truth, at least at this time. What I found on my journey around money and power is where I shut off from myself a long time ago. See, I was a wild child when I was a little kid. I was lots of fun. I didn't care what people thought about me. I ran around, loved being naked. I loved being out in nature. I loved animals. My preschool teacher said to my mom, if I didn't keep my finger on that girl, she'd be running the classroom by now, in a really negative and critical way. My mom thought, natural leader, which is very smart. But what I learned growing up, particularly as a woman or as a girl, was that there were certain ways that I needed to behave if I wanted to fit in, if I wanted to be liked, if I wanted to have friends, if I wanted boys to like me, for example. There were all these unconscious patterns and programs, ways to behave within society and culture if you wanted to fit in. Now, eventually, I learned that I needed to squash and squeeze myself into certain ways of being. But I was also a natural born rebel. So if anyone told me what to do, I would do the exact opposite. I was very defiant. When I was a little girl, I used to say, I can do it by myself. I wanted to figure things out. And because of that, I have figured out lots of wonderful things, but I've also learned a lot of things the hard way. And unfortunately, what happened was, in shutting off of parts of myself to try and fit in, which is very natural for us human beings. We have a longing for belonging, a need, a hardwired need for connection, for community, for belonging. I really hurt and harmed myself. So this manifested in very unhealthy relationships with food, through eating disorders. This manifested in very unhealthy relationships, negative experience around sex, for example, it created a lot of distortion within my self-identity. And it took me a long, long time to understand what I had done to myself and why I had done that. Essentially, I felt too powerful. I felt too much for this world, that who I am doesn't fit in here. And I hid a part of myself in the shadows of shame. I had so much shame and so much pain around my sexuality, around my gender identity, around being a tall and powerful woman in the world. And these were things that I grappled with through different ages and stages of my life that I was processing privately. And I was in a lot of self-hate, very deep and dark, but I did not know that was running me. It was unconscious, and it started to show up through pain, through symptoms, through my physical health, my emotional health, and my mental health. But I started waking up to spirituality at a very young age. And I had a vision when I was 18, when I started meditating, of what I was here to do. So I started to get this glimmer of light, this glimmer of hope. And I started to navigate out of this deep, dark depression of self-hate and self-destruction through the practices of spirituality, of healing, of meditation. And I found tools and practices to help me emotionally, physically, mentally. And I started to connect to this vision, to a sense of purpose, what I was here to do, which was beautiful and amazing. But little did I know that I had shut off or cut off from a part of myself. So I was seeking through spirituality without a part of myself. So it was like I'd cut off my legs and I was trying to run, and it was very ineffective. But I was having extraordinary experiences. I was learning a lot. I was gathering a lot of information. But what I didn't realize at that time is I was doing something that I now call spiritual bypassing, where I was seeking the spiritual truth and healing work and doing all this incredible consciousness work on these other realms of consciousness. And I had rejected the physical world. I'd rejected the material world. I rejected money. I rejected things. And I became quite purist. I had an incredibly healthy diet. I was doing all of these amazing spiritual practices, having these incredible experiences, but it was like I was shut off from the waist down. And it wasn't until real problems were showing up in my marriage and my home life and our finances that I was forced to start looking at this. And what I'd shut off from were aspects that were in the shadow parts of myself. I buried in the shadows of shame. They'd come from trauma. They'd come from not being fully received in all that I am, from being rejected, from some parts of who I am being rejected and shamed and blamed, and from other traumatic experiences that happened in my teenage years. And I had to shut it all down, locked it all away. And I was trying to be this spiritual teacher, love and light, all the glorious energies of joy and abundance and possibility, while trying to ignore or suppress or shut down all the shadow parts. So slowly but painfully, I was forced into the shadow, forced into the pain, forced into the shame, forced to face my trauma, because I was getting very clear visions of where I needed to go. And this money manifestation mastery work was showing me what was available. But the path between where I was and where I wanted to be was the path of going into some very deep pain, because that pain and the suppression and avoidance of pain was blocking my power, blocking my creative power. And suppressed power does all sorts of deep, dark, and shadowy behavior, because the shadow is always there. Our power is always there. And if we're not working with it consciously or mindfully, it is working us. And so for me, that suppressed power would manifest in a lot of self-harm and hiding. I wasn't able to integrate fully in life, which manifested in problems in my business, in my finances, in my home life, in my sex life, my marriage. Now, the challenge is it's very normal to suppress. We live in a culture where we're supposed to be happy and joyful and grateful. Nice. I grew up in a house where the only emotion that was really allowed was happiness, joy, being sweet, smiling. Little Lara was a very passionate, emotional young girl. I still am. I have very deep feelings. I am very passionate, and I have the full spectrum of emotions, as is natural and normal and healthy for human beings. But I've had to learn how to hold it all, hold the emotions, hold the feelings, work with them consciously and mindfully, because I never wanted to unconsciously hurt or harm others. Right? I suppressed the fire. I suppressed the power. So this, of course, is an ongoing journey of uncovering and discovering. And this is why I love this work of business, of wealth creation, aligned with the heart, body, and soul, because we're really waking up power, which from my point of view now is pure creative energy. It is pure life force energy. And it is what we're tapped into when we're connected to the earth, when we're connected to nature, when we're connected to our body. It's the wild, the wonderful. It's also partly connected to our animal nature, but it's connected to also nature and the universe. So it's the power of source, divine, creator, whatever you want to call it, the power of nature, the power of our inner nature, our bodies. So I call it the heart, the body, the soul, right? That part of you that is infinite and connected to all of life. The part of you that's absolutely connected to earth. Your body is here temporarily and holding all of it all at once. The fact that you are human, the fact that you are divine, the fact that you are having your own unique experience as an individual, and the fact that you are interconnected with all of life and tapping into that power. The power of your potential, what you can create, the infinite possibilities, and the power of your fragility, your weakness, your sensitivity, your human. There is power in honoring and acknowledging those limitations as well. So the power in vulnerability, as well as all your incredible power to create, holding it all, the shadow and the light. And I always believed that this part of me that can tap into all of it, it's a skill I've developed through a lot of pain and challenge and setback. I believed was too much, too intense, because most people, they don't want to feel the depth of who they are. They are very protected. So I'd feel that and think, oh, well, there's no room for me. Based on the current systems and structures, I either choose to fit in, right, or be all alone. So this is the story I was telling myself. So it's taken a huge amount of courage and risk, one step at a time, to keep showing up and who I truly am. And, peeling back the layers of who I truly am, and peeling back the layers of what it means to create from our true power in business, in finances, in life. It's a constant journey of discovery, uncovering, letting go of old false identity, old ideas, old beliefs, old points of views, old perceptions, and waking up to more and more of what's possible, while also being tapped into what is happening on the planet for humanity. So it's powerful, deep, rich work and a powerful, deep process. And I know that I am not alone with this, that we all hide, suppress, shut down parts of our true power. And I understand why that is scary. And my great passion is, how do we as leaders, as business owners, as custodians of wealth, how do we use that power consciously and mindfully? So we are leading from a place that is life giving rather than life taking. And there are lots of solutions to that question, a lot of answers to that question, but the starting point is within, doing that deep integration work on yourself first. Leaders go first. So thank you for hearing my story of why I hid my power, the part that I thought was too much, my deep feeling self, my deep sensitivity self, my visionary leader self, all the parts of me, the deepest fragility, wounds and sensitivity and trauma, and a great vision of what is possible, leadership, business, finance. All of this is part of me that I hold and love and honor. And the journey continues. And I'm so delighted and grateful to be taking this journey with you. I would love to know what is popping, what is landing for you around this conversation, around you and your relationship with your power. I would love to hear, what is the one thing that is standing out for you when you hear my story? And I'd love you to share in the comments below. And if you would like more of this kind of conversation, if you've enjoyed today's video, please make sure to like it. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you can receive my weekly trainings, masterclasses, conversations on Wealthy Wednesday. And I look forward to being with you again next time. And if you are a big-hearted business owner, an entrepreneur, ready to step into the next level of your heart, body, soul aligned power, so you can create consciously, mindfully, and powerfully in your business, in your finances, and your life, I invite you to come and join me for my upcoming free event, the Living Abundance Wealth Retreat, where I will take you through my step-by-step process to conscious wealth creation, creating in your business, finances, and life, aligned with your heart, body, and soul. The deep diving of this work is connecting, reclaiming your true power in a mindful, conscious way, in a safe way for you and for the world. So book your free place now via the link below, and I look forward to diving even deeper with you very soon.